The pain, suffering and conquests of Sigma males. Joy is sometimes a blessing, but it is often a conquest. Our magic moment helps us to change and sends us off in search of our dreams. Yes, we are going to suffer, we will have difficult times, and we will experience many disappointments, but all of this is transitory, it leaves no permanent mark. And one day we will look back with pride and faith on the journey we have taken as Sigma males. Pain is the feeling. Suffering is the effect that pain inflicts. If one can endure pain, one can live without suffering. If one can withstand pain, one can withstand anything. If one can learn to control pain, one can learn to control oneself. There are far too many silent sufferers. Not because they don't yearn to reach out, but because they've tried and found no one who cares. Before we proceed, please subscribe now to support the SPIFFY TV channel, we appreciate your support. Suffering is a completely normal part of our lives, and no matter how perfect any of our lives can be, there will still be times of suffering. Suffering can come on so many different levels, from a minor illness to the suffering that comes from a major loss, like the passing away of a parent or a spouse. Most times, suffering can come on instant and strong, but is slowly healed through time. Being mindful of our suffering, and being able to determine if we're losing control of our suffering is crucial. The reason is, that it can overtake our entire lives in a very unhealthy, debilitating manner if we start to lose grip. Mindfulness can be the key to being able to let go of our suffering. If not, we may spend the rest of our lives treating our suffering like a 100-ton anchor. First, what we need to be able to do, as Sigma males, is accept the presence of our suffering. Try to take a look at it, as an outsider looking in. Observe the suffering. Note its origin, its strength, whether or not it fits the scenario, and determine if it is suffering that is detrimentally overtaking life. Are we healthily handling suffering, or are we instead remaining stuck from progressing? As mentioned earlier, suffering is a normal part of life, and we must expect life to be tough like that sometimes, even for Sigma male. It's a middle ground that we should work to search for. It's unhealthy to ignore the suffering, while it's also unhealthy to let the suffering overwhelm all aspects of life. We want to find that area where we experience and feel our suffering. Do not mask or numb it. Bear witness to it. Don't push it away without processing it. Nor do we want to block it. This can be a period where the risk of illicit drug or alcohol abuse potential may be near its strongest. Experience the emotion. Do an inventory and outline of it, determining what situation or event caused it. Is it something worthy of suffering? Be sure it is exaggerated. Then, we must work to find out what kind of process will be required to get through it, and then let it go. Sometimes we may be able to handle it on our own. Though other times, we may require professional help. It can be a tough determination to make, though extremely important. One of the most important things that I learned from this topic, and it's what most related curriculums teach, is we are not our emotions. And just because we feel or think an emotion, doesn't mean that it's right. Remember that as Sigma males we contemplate whether or not to act on our emotions. As Sigma males, we must use caution, and find the self-control needed to cease a reaction type of response. Just because we are angry, doesn't mean we can go around breaking things. Nor can we go around punching people, just because we may be angry at them. Realize when we are experiencing and suffering from negative emotions, that there are still plenty of times where we experience happy positive emotions as well. When we successfully accept an emotion, we are then willing to let go and leave behind any emotion that is a waste. One that takes up space, and is not needed. It's an emotion that can disable us, as we work to approach more positive, and/or useful emotions. Suffering will most certainly happen when we are unable to let go of what needs to be let go of. Walking away from those type of things are quite empowering. Willing to accept is an equivalent to growth and maturity in Sigma male. It's a farewell to useless drama. It's a giving away of that 100-ton anchor. We no longer have to get stuck walking nowhere, glued to the same old place. If you enjoyed this video, kindly like, share, and subscribe to support the SPIFFY TV channel.